Hi, welcome to The Road Least Traveled. My name is Suli and I'm your host. In this podcast, I share with you what I've learned from my journey of self-awareness and spiritual awakening, and also some simple and practical tips to help you in your own journey. So stay with me. Let's work this thing out together. Today's episode is dedicated to all family scapegoats. Boy, have I got great news for you. When I discovered the truth behind family mobbing, wow, just wow. That was the most powerful turning point of my life, and I'm so excited to share it with you. But first, let's identify the issues so we know exactly how to address them. If you have a suspicion that you're the family scapegoat, but you're not sure, here are some pointers. See if you can relate to more than half of them. Okay, ready? Number 1, the family scapegoat can do no right. The golden child can do no wrong. Number 2, the scapegoat is used as a vessel for others to dump their undesirable traits and emotions into. And this includes shame, guilt, malice, fear, insecurities, and anything really that the other family members don't like or want to admit about themselves. Basically, they just project all their bad traits onto the scapegoat, telling the scapegoat that he or she is selfish, stupid, manipulative, malignant, ridiculous, deluded, crazy, etc., etc. Number 3, there seems to be one leader that encourages or motivates others to jump onto the bandwagon to bully the scapegoat. Now, sometimes this is obvious, but very often it's not. It can happen under the radar. While the others may not be conscious of what they're doing, the main abuser is. And you can tell by their micro expressions. Sometimes there's a very faint smile when someone else is doing their bidding to abuse you, so be observant. Number 4, the scapegoat is always the problem, the troublemaker, the ungrateful one. Number 5, in an obvious narcissistic family, the golden child gets the best things and the scapegoat gets scraps. In covert narcissistic families, covert meaning very subtle and under the radar, the distinction is not obvious because it happens on a psychological level. And this is actually the most dangerous of all types of narcissistic abuse because the victim doesn't know. And if they did know, nobody would ever believe them. Because on the outside, the scapegoat can even seem to be the more privileged child. And from what others tell them, the scapegoat is likely to think that he or she is crazy, mentally ill, or imagined it all. So it goes back to that they are the problem and not everyone else. In certain cultures, the golden child is normally the boy, but this is not always the case. And I'll tell you later how scapegoats are chosen. Number 6, the scapegoat is set for failure early on in life. They're told that they're incompetent and nothing they do will come to anything. Now, this can be blatant or it can come in various subtle forms. For example, if the scapegoat told someone about their dreams and ambitions, the narcissist might say something like, yeah, but how many people will actually succeed? Or maybe they'll say, maybe you should be more realistic. Or they might just laugh and ridicule you and tell everyone in the room, did you hear what she said? Oh dear. And the scapegoat shrinks into humiliation and shame. But no matter how subtle and belittling, when it happens often, and especially to a child that hasn't developed its own identity and self-worth, it can become a blueprint for the rest of its life. Number 7, the scapegoat is belittled for everything they say. If they said, I am going to be the next Steve Jobs, they're laughed at. If they say, I don't want to be Steve Jobs, I want to be a social worker, they're laughed at. For the scapegoat, it's like someone tossing a coin and saying, heads I win, tails you lose. 8, in narcissistic families, the scapegoat and the golden child siblings are pitted against each other. Comparisons are made either blatantly or very, very subtly, but frequently. The result is the same. The scapegoat resents the golden child for being perfect, and the golden child judges the scapegoat for being stupid, ridiculous, vicious, incompetent, and anything else that they were told, basically. Number 9, The scapegoat spends most of his or her life trying to prove their worth to others. Some of the manifestations are perfectionism, people pleasing, self loathing, and a deep sense of isolation from the rest of the world, including their partners, friends, and workmates. Number 10, the scapegoat may have rescuer syndrome, where they feel excruciating sadness at seeing stray or abused animals and abused children. They seek justice not only for themselves, but for others as well. They speak for the weak, they protect, they fight for them. 11. The scapegoat is isolated from other family members and friends that may see through the dynamic, so he or she never gets any support. 12. Confusion, anxiety, and distrust of genuinely kind people plague the scapegoat because the scapegoat doesn't know what's genuine and what's fake. Now, this list is not exhaustive and it doesn't clinically define narcissistic abuse or define anyone as a scapegoat, but it's a good enough indication that you might be the family scapegoat if you resonate with most of it. If these issues are not dealt with, scapegoats will carry this energy inside them and attract situations and people that will take advantage of them, cheat them, and betray them. Because the body doesn't forget and the energy stays inside. Abusive and insincere people feel comfortable to the scapegoat because their energies match like two jigsaw puzzle pieces. It takes great courage to leave this comfort zone and go into unknown territory, even if the unknown territory promises genuine, kind-hearted people and a better future. These people feel really strange to the scapegoat. Now, I don't want to make you feel worse, but stay with me. I promise we're onto something. Now for the good news. If you know what I'm going to say next, good for you. But if you don't, mark this day in your diary as your second birthday. You deserve to celebrate twice a year. How cool is that? If you're the family scapegoat, know this. You were chosen not because you were stupid, incompetent, selfish, vicious, manipulative, or anything negative. You were chosen because you had exceptional intelligence, wisdom, sensitivity, kindness, compassion, morals, creativity, courage, and strength of character. Now take a moment to let that sink in. You're not the bad one. You were assigned that role early in childhood, brainwashed into thinking you are the problem and that you're inherently bad. You see, you were chosen because of the opposite of what you were told you were. You were targeted because the others didn't have what you have. You didn't even have to call them out because by just being yourself, you showed others what they lacked. You were an unintentional truth seeker, a force to be reckoned with. And weak people didn't like it. With this knowledge, you can turn your life around. You don't have to change anything. You just have to bring back that child that you were and tell him or her, you were right all along. You were good all along. And this, my friend, is where you gain self-respect and self-love instantly. And if you still feel the need for your abuser's approval and validation, what better reason is there to know that they already know who you are? That's why they targeted you in the first place. With this knowledge, there's no more need to explain who you really are. No need for them to acknowledge their wrongdoings. They already know all this. You're the one who just found out. So does it mean you're stupid that you never knew this? No. It means you're a kind-hearted and compassionate person who gave others the benefit of the doubt over and over. And you loved them unconditionally. You probably still do. That's the sort of person you are. You can still love them unconditionally because you can't help it. But please don't waste any more time giving them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? When you give others the benefit of the doubt again and again and again, you know where I'm heading, right? Yeah, so stop. Instead, focus on your next step. You have to start taking care of yourself. Unconditional love does not mean you continue taking abuse. You understand? It means you love them. That's all it means. It doesn't mean torturing yourself. Unconditional love means you love them no matter what they've done to you, and that you love them even as you walk away to protect yourself. You know you've done your very best to create a good relationship with them, except that wasn't what they wanted. People will say all sorts of things that cast doubt on that, but when you've done your best, you just know it. Unconditional love means you don't blame them, you don't seek revenge, you won't be unkind to them, and you want the best for them. But wanting the best for them does not mean you let them continue to abuse you. Unconditional love does not mean sacrificing your physical or mental health for anyone. Unconditional love has a life of its own, and it protects you too, whether you know it or not, whether you want it or not. Now, what I'm going to say now is radical, so please don't get mad at me, okay? Be grateful to your abusers. Because of them, you know yourself. Yeah, in a roundabout way, faffing around the bush for decades, but still, you eventually came to this conclusion because of your wisdom, your strength, and tremendous courage. Think of it this way. If Arnold Schwarzenegger was your gym instructor for 10 years, imagine how your body would look now. Now think of your abusers as the Arnold of your mind and spirit, giving you all-round training 24/7. You see, one can have intelligence, but not wisdom. One can have knowledge, but not courage. And one can have compassion, but not strength. But you have all it takes to rise above your past. So I'm going to tell you another piece of great news. In this sad situation, the person with the best chance at winning is the scapegoat. So if you're the scapegoat, thank the Lord, thank the universe for this gift. You have the best chance at self-love. So forgive your abusers, send them love, say a prayer for them. But don't just forgive them because, everyone says you should. Look for the silver lining. That's where gratitude is. And gratitude will enable you to forgive them. And when you forgive them and send them love, you're taking yourself out of the place of victimhood. You're taking yourself out of the basement onto ground level where you can finally start to move forward. So I really hope this has given you some clarity on who you are and why you were chosen as the scapegoat. I hope this knowledge empowers you to start turning your life around. Try to find a good psychologist or therapist. Find one that understands your problem. You'll be surprised that many don't and will make you feel even worse or crazier. Search until you find one that knows about narcissistic abuse. Go on your own journey of self-healing and don't expect your abusers to take accountability. You don't need it. And don't expect friends to understand because if they didn't go through the same thing that you did, they're never going to understand. They're just going to compare your situation with others less fortunate, and that really doesn't help because there is no comparison. We're all on a different path. So please persevere. When it gets too dark and hopeless, ask the universe for guidance and support. You have angels around you. Ask them for help. Set aside some time to meditate. And every night, go to bed with positive thoughts about yourself and wake up with positive thoughts about yourself. And remember this, you were chosen because you had exceptional intelligence, wisdom, sensitivity, kindness, compassion, talents, courage, beauty, resilience, strength of character. You can do this. You're stronger than you think. You are truly rich because you have all the things that money can't buy. All the best to you. Take care. Lots of love. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, please share it.